England boost T20 World Cup semi-final hopes with win over New Zealand at the Gabba. England face Sri Lanka in their final Group 1 game on Saturday. Victory would take Jos Buttler's side into the semi-finals as long as they stay above Australia on net run rate. Buttler and Alex Hales hit 50s as England beat New Zealand by 20 runs in Brisbane. England kept their hopes of making the T20 World Cup semi-finals very much alive with a 20-run win over New Zealand at the Gabba. Jos Buttler and Alex Hales struck half-centuries. Buttler after being dropped twice, as England posted 179-6 from their 20 overs before limiting New Zealand to 159-6. Glenn Phillips' 62 from 36 deliveries came in vain for New Zealand, with Moeen Ali breathing a huge sigh of relief having dropped the informed batter on 15 at cover as he shelled an absolute dolly off the bowling of Adil Rashid. England had been dumped out of last year's T20 World Cup by New Zealand at the semi-final stage after their death bowling flopped, but there was no repeat in Brisbane, with Sam Curran conceding only 5 of the 26 runs New Zealand required from the final over. England, New Zealand, and Australia are all on 5 points ahead of the final round of Group 1 games, with New Zealand heading the pool on net run rate, ahead of second-placed England and third-placed Australia. New Zealand face Ireland and Australia meet Afghanistan in Adelaide on Friday before England take on Sri Lanka in Sydney on Saturday. Should New Zealand, Australia, and England all win as expected, then the top 2 spots will be decided on net run rate, with Australia having the most to do with their run rate standing at -0.304 compared to New Zealand's +2.233 and England's +0.547. Any slip-ups could yet see Sri Lanka involved in the semi-final shake-up. Ireland have the remotest of chances of qualifying, but would require an extraordinary set of results. Buttler, Hales give England strong start in Brisbane. Buttler and Hales shared a first wicket stand of 81 from 62 balls after the former elected to bat on a used Gabba surface. Buttler was dropped on 8 by New Zealand captain Kane Williamson at cover and then again on 40 by Daryl Mitchell at deep square leg as he top-scored in his 100th T20 international and overtook former skipper Ian Morgan, England's leading run scorer in T20 international cricket. Buttler was eventually run out in the penultimate over but played a major role in his side plundering 102 runs from their final 10 overs, with Livingstone the only other player bar Buttler and Hales to reach double figures against the side that knocked them out of last year's T20 World Cup. The captain had spoken at the toss about how England would be flexible with their batting order and made good on that promise, with Moeen and Livingstone pushed up to no 3 and no 4 respectively, with Ben Stokes and Dawid Malan coming in at no 6 and no 8. England had looked on course for an even larger total at one point, with Buttler and Livingstone at the crease at the end of the 17th over and the score on 148-2. A cluster of late wickets stalled some of their momentum, although they still managed 16 from Lockie Ferguson's final over. Each of New Zealand's 3 pacemen, Ferguson, Trent Boult and Tim Southee, went at 10 runs and over at least, with the containing job done by spinners Mitchell Santner and Ish Sadhai. Santner with the first wicket of the evening when he had Hales stumped in the 11th over. Moeen and Harry Brook were caught in the deep off Sadhai and Southee respectively. Livingstone was bowled attempting to repeat a ramped 4-over fine leg off Ferguson, and Stokes was pinned LBW by a Ferguson Yorker from the penultimate ball of the innings. Stokes' dismissal left Malan with 1 ball to face, and he picked up 3 from it after working Ferguson into the leg side. The left-hander ending not out alongside Curran, with Curran having struck Ferguson for a leg side 6 earlier in the final over. Buttler with brilliant catch at start of New Zealand chase. New Zealand were reduced to 28-2 during a run-shy power play, with Buttler's acrobatic catch down the leg side removing Devon Conway off the bowling of Chris Wokes and Finn Allen spooning Curran to Stokes at deep mid-wicket. Stokes seemingly injured his finger after taking the catch and left the field before returning a short while later. New Zealand should have been 64-3 in the 10th over, but Moeen inexplicably dropped Phillips, who went on to boss a stand of 96 from 59 balls with skipper Williamson. The momentum was with New Zealand when Phillips mowed Rashid for successive 6s in the 14th over, the batter completing a 25-ball 54 days after thumping a sparkling century against Sri Lanka. The Black Caps needed 67 from 36 deliveries, but Stokes then had Williamson pouched at short third before Mark Wood and Chris Wokes curbed the scoring rate and had Jimmy Neesham and Daryl Mitchell caught in the deep respectively. When Phillips then holed out off Curran down the ground with 44 needed from 15 balls, sub-fielder Chris Jordan with his second catch of the evening, the game was all but up. Buttler, we have dangerous players. England captain Jos Buttler, I said at the toss you don't become a bad team overnight. We have some really dangerous players, and we came out tonight and left it all out there. We bat deep and it allows you to take it on an over earlier. We know that is in our own hands. Williamson, England were clinical. New Zealand skipper Kane Williamson. We struggled to make those breakthroughs to change the momentum. They played beautifully, led by Jos and Alex Hales. Hats off to the way England played, they were very clinical. We had our moments, but we couldn't get ahead of the game. Credit to their bowlers. What's next? England face Sri Lanka in Sydney on Saturday, with New Zealand playing Ireland and Adelaide a day earlier. Both games are live on Sky Sports Cricket.